I don't know if that song's copyrighted or not. Hello everybody, how are we doing? So first of all, forgive the fact that I am lit up like a Christmas tree because my blinds have stopped working, so if I suddenly appear very washed out, that's why. I hope you're having a delightful day wherever you are. Most of you guys seem to be all the way across the world, so it's like the middle of the night. But how are we doing? We've already got questions in. Fat Travelling Drummer, hello again. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Can you talk about your snare, please? Are we talking my acoustic snare? Because I'm guessing so, because otherwise it's pretty obvious what snare drum I've got on here. So the one that I use is it's a custom build company. I didn't custom build this snare drum. I bought it from someone who bought it from someone else who was the person who custom built it. But it's like a custom build kit company. And so it's, when people ask me what it is, it's just like, it's a tiki drum. That's the company, I believe. And it sounds really good. It's 13 inches wide across. Don't know how deep it is, but it's reasonably deep. I have no idea. I should know, but I don't. I love it to pieces, and when it's cranked, it sounds amazing. John Citron 11 asks, how the heck do you increase double pedal rhythm? And all is the first question that comes to mind. You're asking the wrong girl, I'm afraid, because I have a double pedal set down there. Do I use it? No. Have I had it for years? Yes. So I'm not really the one to ask. I don't even know how the kind of like rights and lefts should work when you're playing rhythm. Is it the same as when you're playing with your hands, or is it like you just have to come up with your own thing? I don't have a clue. So helpful answer to that is I don't know. Soz. Dominic, hello from the Czech Republic. Thank you for your channel. I'm a beginner and you help me lots with your videos. Thank you. I'm glad that I could help. That's great. Pratik, how do I start from zero? So we're coming up with a solution for that as we speak. Forgive the sniffles. So there's something exciting coming down the pipeline. But in the short term, I'd go and download the New Drummers Toolkit, because that gives you everything you're going to need to know from kind of the most basic grooves and fills. So check that out. The link, I don't know where the link is here on YouTube. It should be in the description. If not, Bex, help the man out. But yes, or it's on the Alpine website if you go there and look for ebooks or free downloads or whatever it is. So the New Drummers Toolkit is what I recommend in the short term. I love the person whose name is actually one E-ander, two E-ander. Love that for you. Hello from Michigan. Hello to you in Michigan. Another drummer. Just another drummer. Double pedal speed practice. Lads, you're asking the wrong gal. How do you make single pedal sound like double pedal? That's a bit more like it. So, Pat's fan 124. How do you make single pedal sound like double pedal? All I do, no, I mean, it depends on what you're talking about sounding like double pedal, because if you're talking about like strings and just straight bass drum, I haven't warmed up. Like that kind of thing, I'd try and utilise the spring mechanism in your bass drum pedal as much as possible. Thanks, Bex, for putting that link in the chat if you want to check out the free ebooks, etc. So there's that, where you kind of want to almost bounce your toe on the pedal. It's not really great for strong, consistent notes, depending on the pedal you've got. But what was the other thing I was going to say? So what I mostly do, where we get like, you know, that kind of shebang, sorry if that's really loud and distorted. That kind of thing, I'm using heel toe personally. It doesn't work for everybody. If you've seen the video here on YouTube that I've done about bass drum speed, I'm so glad I made that video because now I can just refer people to it instead of trying to explain it all the time. But I use heel toe. So this is your pedal, this is your foot. You get one note out of your heel, one note out of your toes. You have to do it reasonably quick to get the benefit of it. And it's not for everybody, and it's not for all situations either. It is good for your linear fast stuff where you know that shebang. But if you're trying to do, I don't know, stuff in grooves where it falls on the downbeat, so a 1, I find that really tricky to do with heel toe. It's just a bit clunky and not very nice feeling. And also, if you've got slightly larger feet, you probably can't do that anyway. So I then use the other technique I talk about in the video, which is toe, ball of the foot. It's kind of like a slide kind of technique. So I won't talk about that in depth here. Check out that video. Apologies, I am still down with the sickness. And now I'm getting adverts that I don't want. So bye-bye to John, he's off to uni. Say bye-bye to John. How do you combine, this is Mark Ravitz. How do you combine 5/3 linear fills into continuous smooth sounding loop? It doesn't sound smooth when I try it. So, ooh, that's a doozy. The first thing I do is get comfortable with short combinations. So, for example, just 5/3, 5/3 or 3/5, 3/5, and get that going around the kit as you like. And then you string those short combinations that you're happy with together. The other thing I'd say is to make sure they're all smooth. Metronome kind of goes without saying. And also making sure the left hand on the snare drum usually is nice and even. You want to accent the right hand, keep the left hand low. Later down the line you can start to move the accents if you really want. I haven't explored that too much just yet, because I can imagine 5 where you put like tap, accent on the left. Oh. Oh, I've just found a new thing. I've got to write something about that. Hang on. I've got to work on that. I found my new practice thing. Oh my God. You don't understand how happy I am about that. Hang on. I need a pencil. So, see, this isn't about you guys anymore. This is no longer a Q&A. This is just me deciding what to practice. 5s and 3s, but the accents are on the E's and O's. Or accents are on the left. How exciting, because if you've already got the muscle memory in there for, you know, right, left kick for 5, or right, left kick for 3, it's not as much of a mission to start to then move your accents in different places in that combination. Like I said, sorry for all the gross sniffing. Sorry. But yes. Oh, that makes me feel so much better. I know what I'm going to do now. I might even do 5s and 3s in the workout, which will happen at when I decide it's going to happen. I haven't decided yet. I might stay on answering questions till 1:30, or I might just get into the workout. I haven't decided yet. Anyway, back to the questions and back to you guys. What time, Rodrigo, what time signature is Mount St. Helens it's about to blow up in? Can't figure it out. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a quick listen. No, actually, I'm not going to have a quick listen because I don't want to get a copyright strike. But if you Google it, it might come up. Who knows? Mount St Helens. Let's have a look. Mount St Helens. Depends how obscure that song is. Blow it up. Eject. Oh, I want to listen to it so bad, but I don't want to get done for copyright. Sorry, mate. I could no, I don't have the adapter. Oh well. Fat Travelling Drummer, I purchased one of your t-shirts. Yay! Thank you so much. Thank you. We got someone repping the merch. I appreciate it. Hey, do you think for a beginner, this is Santiago? Hey, do you think for a beginner it's worth getting an E-drum with a true hi-hat stand? Oh, if you can afford it, yes. I'd say yes. It's a big yes. Because the main thing I say to people and most people say when buying an electric kit is make sure you have a proper bass drum pedal, not just like a little trigger with a button on it. But if you can afford hi-hat stand, actual mechanical hi-hat, yes. Big yes from me if you can afford it. Zach 19. Thank you, Emma. Glad to be here with you and everyone. Thank you for the tips. I've never had drumming lessons, but you're making it fun to have to learn. Yes! Look at the positivity out here today. I hope this is bleeding out into everyone else who's watching at the moment. I hope you're having a delightful day. Hey, Billy JH. I only just started back in January and I love it so much, but I'm struggling to enjoy practicing and can find it super tedious. Do you have any tips for making daily practice more fun? Depends what you're practicing. And maybe ask yourself what is it that you enjoy and make sure you're doing at least some of that every time that you practice. And trying to find, let's say for example, you're practicing single strokes, right? Let's just say that. And you don't enjoy sitting there with a metronome and just kind of getting it out. I'd say give it some time with a metronome and really sit with it. But also, if you really enjoy playing to songs, find songs that require you to play, you know, single strokes in some capacity. The slight caveat to that is making sure that if you're playing a song with the technique you're learning in it, you're not playing a song that's way too quick, and so your kind of technique just dissolves and you end up mashing and you get into bad habits. So make sure that if you're practicing a skill that you're wanting to learn in a context of a song, you're playing that song unbelievably slow, which is a bit of, you kind of just have to find a bit of a middle ground to keeping things fresh and interesting is what I'm saying. But hopefully that helps. Hopefully. Nestar. Question. Been drumming on and off for about 10 plus years. I struggle to get motivated into practice, mostly because I don't have my kit anymore. That will not help. What methods can I use to trick my brain into wanting to practice? It would be, in my mind, is watching, first of all, drummers online, or if you can go to a drum show, even better, and just kind of getting re-inspired. And finding a new skill or just a simple fill that you want to be able to play and sticking with it. But I'm guessing you're talking about having to practice without a kit. And that can be a little bit tricky because going from a full drum kit, which sounds really cool and full, and then having only a practice pad can be a bit of a... But I think, like most things with motivation, instead of trying to wait for the inspiration to strike and trying to make yourself want to practice, it's just a case of setting that mental habit. every day of just doing a little bit and a little bit, and seeing progressive improvement is the thing that keeps you motivated. But also trying to find something that you find vaguely interesting is a great place to start. Otherwise, you're kind of starting from kind of the back foot. That's what I'd say, if that made any sense whatsoever. Pat's fan again, 124. I started a couple months ago. Any upgrades I should make to my drum set? After a couple months, it depends on what you're playing, but probably not. Like, I had my TD3, which is just a basic drum kit for, I don't even know how long, it was ages. But yeah, when you're at the very beginning, you really don't have to keep chopping and changing things. It's not about the equipment. However, sometimes it can hinder you, so that's a bit of like a double-edged answer. What software or resources do you use to play drumless tracks? Just another drummer. So there's 2 pieces of software you can use if you want to basically take the drums out of any track. And this is a shameless plug, I'm not sponsored by them, but you've got Moises, and you've got is it La La La? Is it 3 La's? La La La? They both same kind of thing. They AI take out drums or whatever instrument you want. You can effectively get stems from any song you like. You can take out the vocals, you can take out bass, whatever. So it's so good if you want to make a drumless track. And I would never once highly recommend downloading songs from YouTube and ripping them from YouTube. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go to YouTube to MP3 and download the songs and then put them into Moises and other places. Don't do that. Don't. So that's what I'd say about that. Don't do that. Ray Bay asks, how do drummers chew or break through sticks so often? I've never broken a stick, and I've been in a jazz band and musical gigs. You've just answered your own question there. So if you're playing jazz or musicals and it's kind of nothing too loud, nothing too hard, like you're not really going at the drums, of course your sticks are going to last forever. For example, on an electric kit, your sticks are going to last a lot longer. Just by nature of the fact you're not hitting it as hard, you've got rubber edges, all that stuff. But when you're playing gigs and you're rim shotting, like every snare drum, you know, doing that for a couple hours and then put a couple gigs on top of that, so that's 8 hours, you know, of that. It's going to break this tiny twig, essentially. People can have thicker sticks so they last a bit longer, but then you might chew through your drum heads a bit quicker. And just a side note on that, in terms of what sticks you should be using on electric kits, you can obviously use 5As, but I would recommend, if you're doing really long stints of practice, using 7As or a lighter stick just for your own joint health. That's what my drum teacher told me way back when I was about 18. So, and I kind of stand by that. It's probably a good idea. But if you know you're going to be converting over to acoustic kit quite a lot, or you're gigging quite a lot, then probably sticking with 5As is good because you keep the kind of strength going. I actually over here do have tree trunks, which are 2Bs. They're huge. And if you're a kind of metal guy, I know my friend Ryan, who does the production for Alona Mayu, I think he uses 2Bs on. Hello, Julian Anderson, you're back again. I know, love your face, but I'm not interested. He uses 2Bs, and I don't know how he does it, because the amount of extra work you'd have to do and the amount of extra musculature required is just next level. But if you know you're going to be playing a lot of that stuff, it can be good to play with heavier sticks because it's like a workout, essentially. That's the only reason I have 2Bs, is because if I wanted to really work out my arms, these would be the sticks I'd use. But you wouldn't want to overuse them, and potentially if you go hitting your electric kit with 2Bs all the time, it's going to potentially cause some damage. Pfellow. Yes. Is the P silent? Fellow? I don't know. I was grooving to your funkiest beats, the one with the funky cowbell part. I'm wondering, any chance you could record a sample library of funky beats? Your grooves have so much pocket. Thanks. Such compliments. I have considered it. I have recorded some stuff when I'm at the School of Drumming, using a Yamaha EAD 10. So I've recorded some loops to a metronome. I might re-record some and make them actually properly in time. But yes, I have considered doing it just because it's useful to have. And it's good to have kind of your own grooves in your own pocket to use in your own music. So I have definitely thought about that. I've also thought about kind of putting out MIDI groove packs as well. So if that's something you guys would want, please let me know in the comments. That would be useful to know. Is that the one where I'm like, that one, I think. But I love that one, as you can probably tell. I mean, I wrote it and I called it my favourite, so of course I like it. Line what's his name? Line Pouverit, probably. Question, I used to play heel toe and bury the beater, and now I don't bury it anymore. I have difficulties landing the heel toe technique now. Do you have any advice on how to play it without burying it? I mean, once I've done the heel toe, my toes are already kind of gliding back, ready to do another normal bass drum, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of going heel toe, but I do that toe quite, I kind of go da-dum, and I'm sliding back already. So that means that the beat is already kind of da-dum off the head, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm doing. I've never really thought about it that much before, so hopefully that helps. Rolf Pringle, hello, how are we doing? Love your shorts. Question, that makes it sound like I'm wearing shorts all the time, but anyway, I see a lot of drummers keep time, so to speak, with their left foot. Is there something I need to learn to do? I think it's a dangerous word, the word need, or need to. However, do I recommend it? Yes, I do. So it's not just a matter of timekeeping, it's also this fourth element you can add to your grooves. So if we say, especially if you've got like a right hand pattern that's slightly more interesting, instead of just your normal holding time pattern, if you've got a bit more of that going on, ooh, try not to hit the laptop while I'm doing that. Having a left foot going on not only can kind of stabilise things, but you can put it, say, on the offbeat and create your own rhythm. If you want to get really advanced, and I don't know how to do this, you can put rhythms of accents within, you know, your left foot. I've never been particularly inspired to do that, but you could. So like a, I can't really articulate it on electric especially, but you can also put it on your offbeats. And putting on the offbeat especially really adds this quite nice like just adds a nice bouncing off point, a back and forth in the groove that's also going on, you know, between the bass drum and the snare drum. So it is quite a cool thing to learn, and I'd say the best way to develop that is by really taking a step back in terms of your grooves. So your basic grooves that you probably know how to play, like eighth note grooves, and start putting a quarter note left foot with it, you know, and then go through every variation of bass drum / snare drum pattern you want. The cheap way is to just go and move the bass drum through the bar, so on the one, on the end of one, on two, on the end of two, so on and so forth. And then do the same grooves again through kind of all the bass drum variations, but then do eighth notes and then do offbeat eighth notes, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and That'll sort you right out, mate. Sort you right out. And yes, it is worth it. In short, TDLR, yes, do it. Dominic, yes, we do have. I do have PDFs for kind of practice, I suppose. It's you got the New Drums Toolkit. I've forgotten what other PDFs we've got, but there are a lot. So check out the link that is pinned to the chat. Thanks again, Bex, for doing that. Lana, I'm about to take a class for music lessons. I know that all of my drums have been unfitting for my loops. What drum question should I ask as a beginner, maybe? I'm not really sure what questions to ask, but there's 2 rules you want to follow normally, right? And this changes as you get further down the line. But if you want grooves to just make sense, there's 3 things. So you always want a bass drum on 1, and then you can kind of mess around with the rest. You can put them kind of wherever you like, but as long as you've got that 1. There was a famous bassist who played for Funkadelic and Parliament, Bootsy, who he has this rule of like, just always know where the 1 is. Really be sure where your 1 is. Because that is the root of everything. Because if you think about, like, you've got a groove like, knowing where your 1 is means everyone knows where it all fits. So 1, you know, that kind of thing. So as long as there is a bass drum on 1, that should give people kind of like a home point. And then snare drums, again, depending on the loop, depending on the situation, you either want to have snare drums on 2 and 4 or beat 3. It's one of those 2 options. If you have it on 2 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, you've got a more normal kind of up pace kind of groove. But if you're going for kind of like halftime R&B vibes, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So either put snare drum on 2 and 4 or on beat 3. After that point, you can mess around with other bass drum placements. You can kind of put them where you like, where it feels good. But the rest of the groove should fall into place. So the third thing, so we've done bass drum, snare drum, and now the last thing, hi-hat patterns. You can keep things straight and kind of simple, like just 8th notes, 16th notes. But just to keep things interesting, you can put accent patterns. That kind of thing. You can get more creative there with that. Because, you know, in R&B loops, in fact, let me get a... Yeah. So right there, in that groove, for example, we've got a bass drum on 1, 1, 1. Got snare drum on 2 and 4, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And all the source is kind of coming from twiddly diddly up there. I won't necessarily go into the reasons why that is, but it has to do with frequencies on the frequency spectrum of what we can hear and where things resonate. But there you go. If you're still here, hopefully that has given you many a pearl of wisdom. And if you take those 3, you can get creative around that structure. And then if you want to really change things up, you can. Even with all those rules I've given you there, it's not always the case. It doesn't have to be that way. There are technically no rules in music, but it can be helpful to give yourself some sometimes. Anyway, let's get back to other drum things. That half hour's gone very quickly. It's amazing how much I can talk to myself, isn't it? Right, let me just... Sorry if everyone's written lots of nice questions. I'm just going to skip to the bottom. Silent P Thello Last request, if you make a sample library, it must include outtakes of years and witty quips and such. You rock. Thank you very much. Speaking of witty quips and technically kind of like bloopers, I have recently got some new batches of videos back from Sean, and the amount of bloopers it's incriminating, and I cannot wait to put them all in a compilation because they're shocking. They're so. If you think that I just flow with these sentences, sometimes it just comes out and it's like, oh wow, how could you put that so well and so succinctly? It's not a pretty process. That's all I'm gonna say. Tetsu? Question. What's the best way to get faster/better weekend? I've talked about this in depth. I've written a book about it and a course about it. Check out Left Hand Bootcamp. But if you want a free ebook, check out The Equalizer. The link should be pinned to the chat. That's what I'd say. Basically, it contains loads of grooves, and it might be a bit too advanced, and that's okay. If you can get that, so 8th notes in the right hand, 16th notes in the left hand, just, you know, with a metronome, that simple exercise is all you really need if you want to start getting that left hand control. But if you're a beginner, that can be a bit intimidating. So there are kind of back steps from that that are slightly less difficult. What mic are you using? This is a Rode NT5, so probably shouldn't be used for what I use it for. Don't ask me why I got that mic, a pencil mic, condenser mic to do vocal work with. Don't ask me why. What's on top of it is over in England we have a brand of smoothies called Innocent Smoothies, and for a while they did knitted hats on the lids, so that's where that lives now. That's just where that goes. Not great for your high frequencies, but hey, oh well. Guy Morgan, do you know Ollie Wiseman from ACM? You know what? The name rings a bell. Let me check Instagram. I'm gonna do it because I think I do. Ollie Wiseman. Do I know him? I know someone who knows of him. I don't know if that's the same guy. Short answer is I don't know. Sorry about that. But the name rings a bell. I'm doing a sniff again, I'm sorry. Right. All right. I think we're going to get into the workout. I think that's what we're going to do. So, first of all, if you're joining me right now, hello and welcome to the rhythm workout. What we're going to cover today is 5s and 3s. It's one of my favourite things. I have a lot of things that are my favourite, but that's because it's in my playing style. So, of course, they're my favourite. It's what I used to play with. I may have covered this before in previous, if you remember and you've watched some of these workouts before. But let's just get into it, shall we? So, 5s and 3s, linear drum fill patterns. So, that kind of shebang. Makes you sound way better than you may well be. And it means you can just get a flow of notes. I did combine some heel toe there, but you know, you start to combine them with other things. But again, I digress. 5s, right, left, kick. 3s, right, left, kick. And before you even combine them, it's good to just get comfortable with how they feel. So what we'll do first is start with 3s, so right, left, kick, right, left, kick. And what you want to be able to do is count to 4, so through 16th notes, so 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. You'll end, if you're doing the order of everything right, on the right hand, on beat 4. with the hi-hat. So let's take it real slow, and what I want you to do is accent the right hand, tap, little ghost note with the left, and then bass drum, kind of normal level. But the more important part is that it's in time and that you're counting out loud, because you want to get comfortable with rhythms that go kind of outside of 2 and 4, essentially. So we've got groups of 3 in the space of groups of 4, 16th. Don't worry about it. Let's just do the exercise. So 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4, and 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4, and again 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. Shake it, 1 E and a 3 E and a, 4. One more time, and then we'll change it up. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. Okay, maybe one more. 1 and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. So if you're getting lost already, that's okay. Just take it much, much slower. So slow that you can't get it wrong. Remember, we're doing right, left kick through the whole thing. So if you diverge from, like, commonly people go like right, left, kick, right, left, right, like this glitches out a little bit. What we want to reinforce is when you think of the number 3, you get right, left, kick, essentially. So now let's move these 3s around the kit. So left hand will stay on the snare drum, but the right hand, the accent hand, will move around the kit. What would it be? 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. So we're going to go clockwise round the kit, starting on the snare drum, and it should end, if we keep going round, on the high tom. Let's just check that. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. That's what we want. Apologies for adverts. Boof. So same speed again. I'm not expecting stupid fast. So 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. Important part is to count out loud and maintain the dynamics. So left hand really quiet, right hand accent. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. And again. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. One more time. And 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. A little bit quicker. So 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. One more time. And 1 and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. Nice. Very nice, babes. So you can, I'd recommend getting it a bit quicker than that. And combining how you want to. You don't have to go clockwise around the kit. That kind of thing. I love it. It's so useful. That kind of shebang. So I'll give the Cliff Notes version. So we will move on to 5s. How many 5s does it take to fill a bar? Yes, so we're going to do 3 5s and there'll be a short gap after it. Because if you think about it, a bar contains 16 ghost notes. And if we're doing 5 groups of 5 notes, which are 16th notes, then we'll have 15 at the end. So we're going to end up having a of 4, nothing on it. So you end up with 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Yeah, so we're going to go way slower with that. you want to, again, the reason I start over here with the hi-hat, snare drum, bass drum, is it helps sonically separate the elements that are going on. So you want accent on the hi-hat, taps on the snare drum, and you've got the bass drum. At first, if you want to just get comfortable with it, you don't have to count at all, and just make sure the order of notes is correct. So you may notice that this grouping has 2 accents on the right hand. That's the way I personally distinguish each grouping. So 3s has 1, 5s has 2. If you move up to 7s, which is just right, left, right, left, right, left kick, you see it's got groups of 3. So on and so forth. But we'll just stick with 3s and 5s, because I find that 7s gets a bit like, it just ends up kind of being a single stroke thing. Anyway, so let's move back to 5s, and this time we're going to count. So 3 groups of 5. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E, 1 E and a, E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1. If you find that way too difficult to count and play at the same time, it's okay, because that is quite difficult. There's a similar exercise to this that's longer than that, and you still have to count out loud. And it took me ages, so it's okay if it feels weird. You can do the same thing as we did with 3s, so you can move the right hand around the kit, left hand stays ghosty, and so on and so forth. But we're going to jump straight ahead to combining the 2. So the reason 5s and 3s is so useful and works quite well is because obviously 3 and 5 equal 8, and when we're dealing with bars of 16th notes, 8 is a useful number to have, right? It adds up nicely and it just works. So 3, 5, right, left kick, right, left kick, makes sense. And we're going to do that now. So we're going to do rows. Again, we're going to start hi-hat, snare drum, bass drum, and we're going to do 3, 5. So 3, 5, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Ah! 1, 2. I was too busy reading comments. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're getting those groups of 1 and 2. 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. Yes, Siddhartha, I would recommend Moises. Check that one out. Or La 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 AI. I think that's what it's called. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gotta skip the alphabet. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So as you get better with it, I just really think about the number of accents that's going on. So you get 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. And you want to sit with this for as long as it takes, that you're not thinking about it really anymore. Sit with a metronome. I'm going to annoy everybody now and put on the metronome. Ha ha ha. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1 and 2 and 1 and 1 and 2 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 and 1.
You get the picture. Then same thing again. You then move it around the kit. So 1. For example, right there, I'm putting the 3 accent on the snare drum. and then moving the 5 across the toms. That's just one combination of many, and even if you just stick on one tom, that works too. As you advance, you can start to then move the left hand around. Oh, can I? It starts to sound a lot more complicated when you start doing that. So that's 3-5, and you can go 3-5-3-5. Or you can change it up, you could go 5-3-5-3. Or you can do 5-3-3-5. Or 3-5-5-3. And all I'm really thinking about as I'm doing that is patterns of 1 accent, 2 accent, 1 accent, 2 accent, and that helps simplify the whole system. So that's how I approach all of that. Hopefully that's been informative. Actually, you guys can watch these lives back. Last week I made a blunder and basically said, you can't see these lives after they've gone out. No, it's for members only. No, fortunately you can watch these lives back. So if you want to check it out, or if you've missed it, that's all good. It's all good, lads. It's all good. Right, let's answer a couple more questions and then we will leave it there. 1 Iana, 2 Iana, thank you for teaching me Ghost Notes. It really boosted my playing. You're an effective teacher and entertaining. This, good to hear. I'm very glad. Not only that I'm a good teacher, thank you for the compliment, but more so, starting to get to grips with the power of Ghost Notes, and more importantly, dynamics as you play. Whew, changes the game. Changes the game. It's so good. And yes, Siddharth. Siddharth? Yes, Siddharth. Moises and La 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 AI. I think that's what it's called. Check those out. Mark Ravids, this was a much better explanation of what was on the short video. Your answer to this very question I asked was good as well, thanks. So yes, that's the only downside to the videos I make, is that they kind of have to be short and to the point. I can't go into depth about, make sure you go censoring, make sure you're counting out loud, even though I do still say that in the videos. You can't hammer things home and you can't repeat stuff. So that's why I'm doing it now. And also on these longer form YouTube videos I can actually go into it. So that's why I like YouTube. Oh man, everyone's asking for double bass tips and I've got none. I ain't got nothing, I'm sorry. But it is just telling me that I need to learn how to play double pedal. You know what? It is true, I probably should look into it. I'm not making any promises, but I really probably should, for everyone else's benefit as well as mine. Ecclesiastes. That sounds Greek, I think, or something. If it's not, then I apologise, but that's something. Emma, we call what we call it when playing floor, snare, kick in same pattern. I'm guessing you mean like a floor tom groove? That kind of thing? That would be a floor tom groove. How to tune a drum kit. Oh, we need to make videos about this. I say we. I need to make some videos about this quite badly. But I am poorly informed on the subject because I've played so much electric kit for my entire life, and that's one of the downsides, is that you don't really pick up how to tune drums properly. But I know a guy who's passionate about tuning drums, and Ryan, if you see this, I'm talking about you. We need to link up at some point and talk tuning drums properly. What's your favourite genre? I like rock, heavy metal and jazz. What a combination. It's hard to say. I am a sucker for disco, not gonna lie. I just love disco. I love the power of a 4 to the floor, you know. That can get a whole room to move like that. Just that can do that, and I love that. But I also love, you know, Garibaldi kind of gaddy kind of. That kind of paradiddly grooves, and they are really hard to get in time and sounding good. But I love some rock as well. It's very cathartic. Your classic kind of like. That's more drum and bass rock, but hey, there it is. So I love me a bit of everything. As long as there's ghost notes involved, I'm here for it. Right, boys and girls, I think I'm going to leave it there for today. But thank you so much for joining. I will finish on Matt the Epic. Do you play live events? And if so, can you give me some tips? My number one thing, is that however a good time you are having, if you look terrified and you're playing, or if you're having a great time and you're laughing when you mess up and stuff, that is what the audience will give back to you. So you've got to look like you're having a good time, or hopefully you are having a good time, but don't stress about messing up. Look like you're having a good time and laugh when you mess up. And if you are messing up a lot, if you are nervous, ask yourself, what is it that I'm doing to hold time? If it all goes horribly wrong, what is the bare minimum of what I'll do to hold it together, and make sure that's really solid. So even if you're doing a complex groove and it messes up, you can always reset, keep the hi-hat going, you know, or the bass drum or something. If you drop sticks, keep the bass drum going. Do what you got to do. But that's what I would say to that. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for today. I hope you have a lovely day / week, life, and I will see you in the next video. Big love. Mwah. Also, sorry, side note, these lives I'm attempting to keep them kind of, at the moment anyway, on Tuesday morning starting at 10 a.m. British time, whether that's summertime or GMT. I think it's summertime now. So check in at this kind of time. Sorry, I'm not giving people more warning yet, but we're just trying to iron out the best times and ways to do all of these lives and stuff. So anyway, have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah. Off. Excuse